Now I want to give you some tips on touring the house with the seller. The first suggestion I have is to fill as much of your paperwork in before the appointment in advance. See, there's this period at the end of the evening where we're going to be looking for the signature, the commitment to getting the listing process started. And if that's an awkward space while you sit there transposing information from one notepad to the paperwork, it's kind of weird. So I always like to try to fill in as much as I can and to reduce or eliminate that space altogether at the end of the evening. I want it to be seamless. The next suggestion I have for you is when you're touring the property, get the seller involved, because as the seller walks through the property, they're emotionally committing to selling the house. And they're talking to you about disposing of this asset. And that's the first step emotionally to letting go, because it's part of the process. It's their home. We need them to see it as an asset that they're selling and that they're not going to be as emotionally connected to it. That'll help. The next thing I would suggest is while you're making your way through the property and touring with the homeowner, I want you to use trial closes. And let me give you an example of a trial close. Let's pretend you were standing in the dining room and you say to the seller, will we be leaving the dining room light fixture? No matter how the seller answers that question, they're moving. If they say, no, we're going to be taking it with us, what are they saying? We're moving. No, we're going to leave it. What are they saying? We're moving. So that's a trial close. I might do the same for custom-made blinds or fireplace utensils. But the point is, I want to find out where they're at with stuff. And are they committing to making the move? So I use my trial closes. You have to see the home from subjectively and objectively. You see, it's their home and it's an extension of who they are, but it needs to be sold. So let me give you a word of caution. I've seen salespeople get so excited about the listing and so excited about the house. While they're touring the property with the homeowner, they've actually sold the house back to them. You know, they go over all the features and they're like, oh my gosh, look at this view. It's 1 in a million. This is perfect. This family room is to die for. This is a gourmet kitchen. And over the top they are. As the seller goes through the exercise, they start to reconnect with all the features they loved about the house. And next thing you know, the agent sold it back to them and the seller is reluctant to put the home on the market. Do I need you excited? Yes, but I need you to balance it. So not so much that it's over the top, but I need you to take copious notes, be aware of all the features, engage with the seller, but not get so crazy excited about it that people get thinking about buying their house back from themselves. The other thing I would say to you is you have to be careful how you point out repairs. If if the carpet needs to be steam cleaned, you got to be delicate about that. If the front door needs a lick of paint, you need to be delicate about that. What's interesting is often people can't see that stuff, and you have to be careful how you point it out. We don't want to offend them. We don't want to hurt their feelings, and we don't want them to have the feeling like, boy, this real estate guy, he really just didn't think very much of our house, so that was the reason we decided not to use him. We don't want that to happen. So again, you have to balance your interest, and you have to see sometimes those little things that we could do that could make a difference. The way you want to really present it, with a small adjustment here or we put a lick of paint there, it won't cost you anything but a bit of time, but it could make a big difference when you go to sell the house. We want you to maximize the amount of money you get for it, and I know you do too, am I right? See, there goes one of my tie downs. And then I'm going to say, have the seller point out the features as you're going through the property. Again, when they highlight the features they've loved, you have to be careful not to get too excited. Take copious notes, be sincerely interested, but maintain that balance. Watch for disclosure issues. Now, for as long as I've been in real estate, I'm not sure if there's anything out there that I wouldn't know or be able to see. I think most of the time we ignore issues and then we get upset when the home inspector finds them. Like for instance, if the shingles are curly, trust me, the home inspector and the buyer can see that the shingles are curly. Pretending that they're not curly isn't going to make them go away. So of course we need to address that and deal with it. If the electrical panel box looks like spaghetti, well, there's a pretty good chance the home inspector is going to have a problem. So these things can be dealt with in advance, and most of the time they're not big deals. So watch for the disclosure issues. Be careful not to offend people. Point out all the features. But as you make your way through, this is about making that connection with the seller so that they're, for whatever reason, they're like, I really like this person. I'm feeling confident that they're the one.